Good evening and welcome to a program devoted entirely to Lefties Losing It. You know, when I think about the wonders of the natural world, I immediately think of puberty blockers, bottom surgery and other irreversible trans treatments, don't you? Let's check what is happening at Yosemite National Park.
We carry the largest trans pride flag to ever be flown in a national park and unfurled it on the side of El Cap to prove a point that trans is natural. The Trump administration and transphobes would love to have you believe that being trans is unnatural, but species that can transition sexes can be found on every continent and in every ocean on planet Earth. They try to erase us from government websites and education systems and libraries, so we raise this flag higher than ever before.
Yes, thanks for ruining the photos of people who travel to Yosemite for a once-in-a-lifetime experience. That unauthorised little stunt was shut down by park authorities and the flag has been thankfully removed. Okay, from that absurdity to another, here is a disabled trans Muslim pro-Palestinian woman activist, identifies as a woman. This should be a comedy sketch, but apparently it is all too real and this gentleman is very serious.
I stand before you all as a proud Kashmiri trans Muslim woman. I'm disabled and this state hates that. This state has burned trans and disabled people to create a smokescreen to cover the further bodies that they are burning around the world.
The delusion is beyond measure. You know where there are no trans Muslim men in dress protesting in the streets in any Muslim majority country.
And I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it, Cardiff. Today, I stand and I march for the liberation of my people in the trans community, my people in the disabled community, my people in the Kashmiri community, to my beloved Palestinian people, to all of these people and the intersections that they represent, who meet me where I stand at the crossroads of so many places of suffering. We will all be free, inshallah.
What's that line like? Turkeys cheering for Christmas. Now, here is a triggered Karen claiming that she is not a Karen.
I'm sick and tired of Trump supporters calling me a Karen. You have no idea what that means. A Karen is privileged, entitled, microaggressive racism, anti-vax. Who does that sound like? The Trump administration? Trump followers? You're the Karens.
Oh, sure, Karen, whatever you say. Now to a former Karen who has seen the light. After a lifetime of voting Democrat, she found herself living among gangbangers in the country illegally. They'll wake anybody up.
So you were a Democrat?
I was, my whole life.
Really?
I first voted for Bill Clinton and voted Democrat every single year until, November. If that it was not for Donald Trump, we might still be living next to gang members because everything changed after he was elected.
So you feel a lot safer now that he's in the White House again? I
do, because he's taking it seriously. The Democrats simply ignored it. They said it was lies. They won't talk to people who have been victimized by this.
Now, this next clip must be music to her ears. Here is the official account of Homeland Security. I'm not kidding. This is the official account posting a video of Donald Trump saying bye-bye to criminal illegal immigrants who have been deported.
Bye-bye. 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 Okay? Bye-bye. 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 Bye. Bye. Bye-bye. 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 Bye. Bing. Ding. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. That's it. Bye-bye. Wave goodbye.
Now, here is the brilliant Megyn Kelly holding Jake Tapper to account for his culpability, his complicity in the great cover-up on Joe Biden's cognitive decline that he's now pretending to expose in his new book. This is beautiful stuff, folks. Enjoy.
Over here in my ecosphere, we were covering all of these. It wasn't just falling down. It was getting lost. It was some of the stuff you report in your book, we knew and we were reporting on, like the multi-jump cuts in the videos of him, where it was obvious he couldn't get through a 1-minute take. It was clear to us that he was using teleprompter, and there was some reporting on that at the time, all of which the White House was denying. Now, the current White House, I have some connections. With the Joe Biden White House, I had none. But you did. There was an attempted cover-up. It could only ever work if you allowed it, if the press allowed it. Some of us tried not to, and some of us were complicit.
And she was not going to let up when Jake Tapper again tried to rewrite history by claiming that he covered the Wall Street Journal's expose on Biden. Indeed, he did the opposite. He did everything he could to discredit the story, and Meghan was there to remind him.
That's the point, is that they were not being honest. That's
well,
the
how
point.
Did the Wall Street Journal get it in June of 2024? And Jake Tapper and CNN couldn't find sources for this story then before he dropped out?
Annie Linsky and Siobhan Hughes did an amazing job in their reporting. And they should be heralded, and I heralded them. I had them on my show right after the debate to talk about their great reporting. But Annie Linsky...
After the debate. But you did not put them on when they published that story, which was before the debate.
Correct. I don't know what the booking situation was, but it wasn't because I didn't want them. I'm sure I said that day, let's book. I'm sure I said that day, let's book that. Did they? Yeah,
you put on a Democrat, and you allowed the Democrat to rip on the report as a Rupert Murdoch sponsored hit piece.
No.
It's just
Meghan.
Well, that's Meghan, what happened.
If we're going to do this, let's just stick to the facts here, okay? When there is a damaging report...
That's what I've been doing all along.
I'm talking about what you just said.
Didn't miss the biggest story of the century when it comes to presidential politics, and one of us did.
That was beautiful, wasn't it? And now you've got Jake Tapper out there, the Russian collusion hoax spreader, the Biden cognitive decline cover-up participant. Now he wants the media to be aggressive about Donald Trump's health records.
Worry less about politeness when it comes to these health issues, and needs to be even more aggressive when it comes to demanding transparency on health issues when it comes to the president. President Trump, while he appears healthy, he has not been transparent about his health records. And I think that that's something that the American people have a right to.
The audacity is breathtaking. Now to the WNBA, and here is the woman that the Biden administration swapped for the merchant of death after she got herself arrested on drug charges in Russia. Here is Brittany Griner on the bench, seemingly mouthing trash and saying effing white girl. Could it be about Caitlin Clark, I wonder? And here she is in a post-match interview, just being a delight.
PG, right now you have 10 points, 5 rebounds. We see the Atlanta Dream as being very... Right now she's talking to the refs about holding. We're going to send it back to you guys.
And to make the league even less appealing, the Minnesota Lynx decided to hold in front of a mostly empty stadium a moment of silence for George Floyd. You remember him, the felon who died with a fatal level of fentanyl in his system and who had a long record of criminality and violence, including against women. Yes, the WNBA thought this was a good idea.
Thank you guys for taking a minute to honor the life of George Floyd. George was a father, a brother, and a son. And his life, like every life, held meaning. His death exposed the holes that are still in our justice and criminal institutions today. And his 5-year anniversary reminds us that we must continue the fight against criminal, racial, and social injustices. We cannot stay silent. Every life deserves respect and dignity. Thank you.
Yes, every life should be respected, including the life of Floyd's female victims. That includes the victim of an aggravated robbery with a deadly weapon in which George Floyd and 5 others forced their way into a woman's apartment, and where Floyd pushed a pistol against the abdomen of the female victim, threatening her life. That's the character WNBA want to elevate to hero status, deserving of a tribute on the 5th anniversary of his death. the worst vice president in our lifetimes is in Australia. Yes, Kamala Harris reportedly earned hundreds of thousands of dollars to speak at a real estate conference on the Gold Coast. I'm serious. She was headlining with other really serious world figures like Maurizio, you know, he's from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Yes, real estate agents, or realtors as the Yanks call them, paid upwards of $1,500 to hear pearls of wisdom from the word salad specialist herself. And wowie, didn't they get their money's worth? She pulled out this all-time Kamala classic.
They see what can be, and they're unburdened by what has been.
Profound, profound, still profound, the 10,000th time I've heard her say it. Indeed, the entire experience was reportedly a hot mess of incoherent word salads. The Daily Mail reports Kamala Harris left the audience baffled as she laughed and talked about Playboy magazine covers and launched into a confusing word salad after being asked about the importance of humility. But I want to know more about the Playboy magazine segue, please.
She would say, you know, you look at, we're in the store or whatever, you look at the cover of Playboy magazine. Let me just tell you, the reason that people are looking at these things, understand why they were developed, for the perpetuation of the human species.
Okay, that made a lot of sense. I'm sure that will help real estate agents sell plenty of houses, as will this bit of inspiring rhetoric about never accepting the word no.
I don't hear no. I eat no for breakfast. I don't hear no until maybe the 10th time. I cannot tell you the many times that it has been explicitly or implicitly said to me, it's not your time. You're not ready. They're not ready. Nobody like you has done this. And then when I love, oh, it's going to be a lot of hard work. Don't you listen.
Oh, Kamala, you should listen, because it's not your time. You're not ready. We don't want you. You are not president. The American people said no in emphatic fashion last November, and hopefully you've heard the message, because no means no. Now let's have a little fun and frivolity courtesy of the Nelk Boys, who played a hilarious prank on the parents of a young woman by pretending that she is dating some Lefties Losing It TDS sufferer. Watch this.
Donald Trump has got to go. Hey, hey. Oh, oh. All right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. Trump has got to go. Oh, how are you guys? Hi, babe.
Oh, hey.
How are you?
Hi, babe. How are you?
Do I have consent to take this?
Yeah.
Okay. How are you?
How you doing?
How are you?
Very nice
Smile.
to meet you.
Did you notice he asked for consent before kissing her on the cheek? How long before these parents lose their patience with this Democrat boy wooing their daughter?
For that, we don't have tofu here.
That's just a bit upsetting.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, what's your pronouns?
Yes.
Are you he, she, or they?
Them.
Them? Okay, them. Them, I will have the mushroom quesadilla, yeah. Thank you, them. Yeah.
They're trying hard to keep it together, but I don't think it's going to last, because let's add a MAGA hat to proceedings and see what happens next.
Excuse me, sir.
Kyle, hold on.
Sir.
Hold on.
Excuse me, sir. Sir, how does it feel to be driving a fascist mobile?
Oh, it's a great car.
Yeah, I can actually drive myself. I don't need a self-driving car.
Kyle, listen.
Are you
trying to piss us off? Because I'm getting pissed off.
I'm pissed off too, because there's a Make America Great Again hat. There's a Tesla here.
So what?
And this country is going fascist right in front of us.
No. You don't even know what fascist means.
I don't?
No, you don't.
I'll show you what fascist means. I'll show you what fascist means. I'll show you what fascist means. How's that for fascist? Yeah. Enough AI. I'm done with that AI. Guys, you guys are on a hidden prank show. We're totally messing with you.
Now here's a blast from the past, and my word, how things can change so dramatically in 5 years. Yes, 5 years ago we had Nancy and the rest of the race-baiting Democrats taking a knee for George Floyd and the anti-American, anti-police, anti-nuclear family neo-Marxist of BLM.
We gather in honor of those Americans and so many others. George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, Botham Jean.
Yes, just 5 years ago when I and just a handful of others in the media were pointing out the absurdity of all that. Remember that era of every idiot posting a black square on their Instagram page to show their solidarity with that movement? And then there was the weeping, so much weeping. Here is Mayor of Minneapolis, Jacob Frey, sobbing like a little schoolgirl at George Floyd's funeral.
Don't you be afraid. Joy comes in the morning.
And against that backdrop, we had mass violence, arson, looting and destruction costing around $2 billion. And the ladies of The View have become so toxic, so unlikable and full of bile that even the woke warriors at ABC and parent company Disney are telling them to tone down their political commentary, to just rethink the constant anti-Trump hate and hysteria, to perhaps, I don't know, stick to the facts so they don't have to issue so many corrections and apologies. But sadly, these ladies will not be told. They are going to keep up the lies and hate. Here is Whoopi Goldberg lying about Donald Trump again, firstly claiming Memorial Day was the first time Trump has said anything positive about Gold Star families.
It was about time we heard him give the Gold Star families their due. It was about time he did that, because he spoke and said we are proud of our Gold Star families. This is the first time, at least maybe, unless you've heard him do it.
No, he's hosted them at the White House in his first term.
Right, but the last time we collectively heard him talking about Gold Star families, it was not positive.
It was only last September when these hysterical harpies were criticising Donald Trump for visiting Arlington National Cemetery with Gold Star families. The left said that was politicising Arlington. And let's not forget the Gold Star families that endorsed Donald Trump at the Republican National Convention. But that's apparently the first time he has mentioned them or said anything positive, according to Whoopi. Now let's hear from Misery Guts Joy Behar, who wonders why the Commander-in-Chief is even speaking at West Point. Then she claims that Donald Trump is walking into walls.
So why would they invite him to speak at West Point? And wearing the hat was a political move also. It shows you that
the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed
Forces. The hat is politics. Yeah. It's not about anything but that. So he's supposed to be not political at West Point or Arlington Cemetery, and there he is being political and rambling. Jake Tapper needs to do another book because he was rambling. He's running around. I see pictures of him walking into walls.
And if you think she's miserable and delusional, let's hear from Anna Navarro, who is only happy when she's out of the country and away from Trump. You know what, Anna? You can always stay out. Perhaps you could join Rosie in Ireland.
I was out of the country, and for 5 blissful days, I didn't hear his voice. I had no cell service, and I had no TV. But then I come in, and I watch a clip like this one, up to your point of what you were just talking. Can we see the clip?
Yeah.
As a linguist, translator, and cryptologic technician.
Right. I mean, if Joe Biden said that, right, we'd be talking about his cognitive skills and cognitive decline for days. But
why does the media avoid it with him? Tell me.
Yes, Donald Trump mispronouncing one difficult word means he's Joe Biden now, who routinely spoke incoherent sentences, who struggled to deliver the simplest lines of an auto cue. These ladies are really clutching at straws, and this is after they've been told to dial back their lefty lunacy. Now, Whoopi not only had a go at Donald Trump, defamed Donald Trump, she also attacked J.D. Vance and Pete Hegseth. men who risk their lives serving their country.
Pete Hegseth knows better. He knows what it's like to be a service person. Vice President Vance knows. He knows how hard it was, because I'm sure one of the reasons he went there is to elevate his life. He comes from very, very poor people. Yeah. And the fact that you don't stand up and say, you can't do this to these folks. I've worked with them. I know what they go through. Instead, we get this kind of...
She was so enraged, she couldn't even finish that sentence. You know, the way these hysterical harpies are carrying on, you think there was a crisis in the military. Instead, the opposite is true. Morale is finally high after years of degradation. And the evidence of that is in the recruitment numbers, which have surged to new highs. They surged to record numbers after Donald Trump's election triumph back in November and have stayed high ever since. But facts and figures are abhorrent to the ladies of The View. Let's end our little View catch-up with Joy Behar, who left her phone on during filming, so very professional there, Joy, and listen to her say that she would rather die than be saved by a Trump supporter.
I wouldn't even let him give me a Heimlich maneuver. Yeah, that's how little I feel about people. I don't know.
Well, and a MAGA supporter is like
calling you right now.
I got it.
Somebody's...
I fixed it.
Now let's check in with someone who seems to be auditioning for The View, actress Kira Sedgwick. She's married to Kevin Bacon, in case you're interested. Well, she seems to think that women in America are about to lose their right to vote.
Wondering how you're feeling about the state of our union. Finding myself pretty scared about a lot of things, scared about losing my rights as a woman, scared about losing my right to vote as a woman, scared about losing autonomy over my body as a woman.
I would have thought her abortion days were behind her, but maybe I'm wrong. And in any case, you can get even late-term abortions in most blue states, most blue cities. But let's listen to more of this Hollywood star's unfounded fears.
Scared of my parents' Social Security checks, scared of food banks running out of food and not being able to replenish because they're no longer getting federal funding.
She really is part of the awful phenomenon. Awful standing for AWFL, affluent white female lefties. Let's check in on a awful, well, AWF Latino, Jennifer Lopez, still works. She raised a few eyebrows with this performance. And she was pretty happy with herself afterwards.
There were little spicy moments in there.
There are little spicy moments in there. I hear the kisses are going viral. Yeah.
No doubt.
You know, Madonna and Britney did that like 20 years ago. It's a bit lame these days. But the kisses going viral is one thing. Something else that's going viral are questions about why J-Lo was so keen to warn America about the dangers of Donald Trump. Remember this?
He has consistently worked to divide us. At Madison Square Garden, he reminded us who he really is and how he really feels. It wasn't just Puerto Ricans that were offended that day, okay? It was every Latino in this country. It was humanity and anyone of decent character.
Decent character, she says. Yeah, she was very keen to warn America about Donald Trump, but she's Peter D's former girlfriend. Why didn't she warn the world about him? Didn't warn all the potential future victims about what sort of man he was and what sort of antics he got up to. We've all seen the hotel tape. Now here is a world leader losing her, or at least his partner Brigitte. Here's Brigitte double slapping the French president. Let's have a closer look at that in slow motion, please. That looked like a slap to me, a double-handed one, but the French president claims otherwise.
Fait dire à une vidéo beaucoup de bêtises. Sur ces 3 vidéos, j'ai ramassé un Kleenex, serré la main à quelqu'un et juste plaisanté avec mon épouse comme on le fait assez souvent.
I don't know. If it looks like a backhander and feels like a backhander, it's probably a backhander, Emmanuel. Now let's hear from 60 Minutes anchor Scott Pelley, who happily pushed the Russian collusion hoax and was an active participant in covering up Joe Biden's cognitive decline and the dodgy business dealings of the Biden family. Remember 60 Minutes claiming the laptop was Russian disinformation? Well, old Scott gave a commencement speech at Wake Forest University recently, and it was a hot mess. Listen to this unhinged anti-Trump hyperbole.
Our sacred rule of law is under attack. Journalism is under attack. Universities are under attack. Freedom of speech is under attack. And insidious fear is reaching through our schools, our businesses, our homes, and into our private thoughts. The fear to speak in America